Good afternoon, everyone. We have Coach Robert Saleh. Coach, whenever you're ready, sir.
Recording in progress.
So you're the only one, Dennis.
What do you got?
Hold on, I'm gonna wait. It looks like guys are trying to get in.
Recording stopped.
Coach, you can start. They're all in now.
They're all in. Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right, I'll start with injuries. Marcus May, he's got a tear, so he's out. Tyler Croft looks like he's going to IR with a chest injury. Mike White looks good for next week. Obviously, it's going to be day to day, but it's trending in that direction. Also trending in the direction that return to practice is Zach Wilson, Corey Davis, and Tevin Coleman.
Hey, Robert, can you speak with regard to Marcus? Obviously, it's been a complicated situation with his contract situation, and you always talk so much about the players and you know their windows to make money and whatnot. And how do you? I mean, what's your empathy for his situation here? Being injured, contract year, didn't sign the extension you guys offered him, and now he's kind of a little bit of a no man's land here, hurt for the rest of the year.
Obviously, for Marcus, I've seen the story, unfortunately, one too many times in this league, and it's never good initially. It sucks. And but the one thing with Marcus is he is a young man. He's got a tremendous mindset to him, and he is made of grit. And his ride's not over. His story's not over. If there's anyone that's going to be able to come back from this and go make the things that he's made that he deserves, it's Marcus. So you know, I had the pleasure of being able to coach Jason Verrett, who had injury after injury after injury and just couldn't put together a season. And last year he got through a season and was able to parlay it into a contract this year. So Marcus's story is not over, and you know and I know it hurts now and it hurts for everybody. I hurt. There's not very many people who are going to hurt more for him than his teammates and his coaches, but he'll come back from this. He has our full support.
I know it's a bit early, but do you hope his story continues wearing green?
Always. I hope all these guys continue wearing green, but obviously we'll go and even if it doesn't, he's still Jet family for life. But with Marcus, obviously get healthy and hopefully he's back here.
Robert, how will you go about making a decision on your starting quarterback this week?
We'll see where they are from an injury standpoint. We'll see how far along Zach is, Mike, and we'll go from there. So like I said, with Mike, it's trending in that direction. With Zach, it's trending in that direction, but it's still day to day, and we'll get a lot more information as we get closer to Monday and then Wednesday.
Robert, what kind of test or whatever did Mike undergo, or was it just, you know, everything was okay?
You know, he got hit in a perfect spot, you know, and it was from my understanding, so it was a nerve contusion, and so the nerve just went dead on him. He couldn't grab the ball, and it thankfully it just wasn't until the end of the game, towards the end of the game. By then, Josh had been rolling, and it wasn't worth making that change. But it wasn't until darn near the fourth quarter that he could finally grip the ball and feel it. So now it's just a matter of just the contusion and the swelling going down and getting his arm strength back.
Robert, if both of them are healthy and both of them are ready to go for Sunday against the Bills, is it just as simple as who gives us the best chance to win, or is there more to this decision because of where you drafted Zach and you know you guys have kind of spent a lot of time this year trying to develop him?
You know that we're going to talk about all that stuff, Kaz, because you know there's the quarterback obviously is always at the forefront of our mind, but you know this is a very young offense that's also trying to be developed, and you know we'll see through practice and through reps. You know, it's I'm not saying that there's a competition, because I mean it's still a hypothetical what you're giving me, because there's still two guys that aren't close to being nearly fully 100%. So we'll see how practice goes, and we'll get as we get closer to it.
Robert, when you studied the film, the run defense, what were the major issues there?
Just like I said, it's from whether we could have helped the players better with play calling, to players executing. It's a collective effort in terms of lack of execution, lack of detail in what we're asking of our guys, lack of strain. It just wasn't a good day all the way across the board, coaches included, and that's something that's got to get fixed, because if you can't stop the run in this game, and I know it's a passing league and all that junk or whatever, but if you can't stop the run, it gets ugly in a hurry. And that yesterday, for the amount of space that was created, it'd be one thing if they were breaking tackles and doing something magnificent, but for the amount of space that was created to get to the second level, there's coaches, we need to look in the mirror first before we even start talking to our players.
Robert, when it happens, like you said last night, 2 out of 3 games, how does that sit with you as a guy who, that's where you come from, stopping offenses?
No, it's there's the two of the last 3 teams lined up and tried to run the ball, and were able to successfully do it. There's Cincinnati. I felt like we were able to knock those guys back and put the run game to bed pretty early. For one reason or another, we're just not, the poor run game performances have come on the road. We're at home. We've got all this juice and energy up front, so we've got to figure that part out. We've played 3 games at home, and we've played 3 very competitive games, and we've played 5 on the road and had a couple of competitive ones. So we've got to figure it out from that regard. But when you talk about run game, there's an old saying that 50% of trying to beat your opponent, 50% is showing up, 40% is execution, and then 10% is a dogfight. The run game is a dogfight. You beat that. That's how you win, and that's where I feel like we got to get better.
Hey, Robert, and not to hammer on I guess we're all killing the running defensive stuff at this point, but what was kind of weird about yesterday is, and I know you've spoken to us since the summer about obviously how young this team is, and you're going to go through these kinds of things, but your front 7 is the strength of your team, and where the most really are the veterans are. And so how distressing was that for you, that unit was probably what hurt you most yesterday?
It is, because I'm always vocal. I love our D-line. I think it's we go as they go, period. And but at the same time, linebackers, safeties, filling gaps, triggering in the run game to take the pressure off them also comes into play. But there's edge setting that needs to take place. There's strain on the interior that needs to take place. There's strain at the linebacker level to catch your reads and get downhill to get those offensive linemen off the double teams. And so it's all encompassing. And for one reason or another, we were slow to trigger, and it just wasn't good enough.
Robert, a couple weeks ago after the New England game, Mike LaFleur was taking a lot of heat. I was at the front of the line, so I'll own up to that. But the last 2 weeks with backup quarterbacks, he's got the offense going a lot better. What have you seen from Mike, just play calling wise, these last 2 weeks and game plan wise?
I want to say this delicately. Mike is a very, very smart young man, an incredibly smart young man, and the scheme and the things that they've been able to do with John Benton in terms of simplifying things to allow guys to operate at their absolute fullest, and to kind of spoon feed the offense and take some back and just let these guys get repetition. And then obviously with the quarterbacks executing the offense and getting it to it's a progression offense, so getting it to the receivers in time. And Zach has shown spurts of that. The difference between the last 2 weeks is it's happened a lot quicker. Even though Mike is a rookie per se, he's still been in the league 4 years. He's seen it for 4 years now. Josh Johnson has been in the league. God, he's forever now. He's been, although he knows ball. For Zach, he's been doing it, but it's not happening until midway through the second half, and where he's showing the offense move. Like there's no question. We all agree that he's looked like a heck of a quarterback in the second half. So that for the youth part, paying the rookie tax in terms of Zach, can you figure it out on the first drive so you are rolling? And we felt like he was kind of getting there in the New England game. That second drive, if everyone remembers, we drove 12 plays to a field goal. We missed it. And then the next series, he takes it to the 1 yard line, but he was hurt on that play. So he was coming along. And so we're super excited about all three of our quarterbacks. And now you add Joe Flacco to the mix. Like I can't express enough confidence in the quarterback room. But as it goes back to your question with Mike, he's always been, in my opinion, fantastic. It's just a matter of, he's a first-time play caller. Get into your groove, find what you like, find out what works with the players. This is a first-year coordinator working with a first-year team, and so everyone's trying to figure each other out. So all of that takes time. I think they're doing a fantastic job on offense. So
Robert,
I understand
Coach. We'll take a couple more for Coach.
Robert,
just follow.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Just one quick. I understand what you're saying about Zach and the veteran quarterbacks and maybe the offense looking different with them, but it feels like he's even been just kind of more aggressive with gadget plays and just kind of coming out throwing. We talked about it with the Cincinnati game, but even last night as well. Do you feel like LaFleur's been more aggressive in these games?
You know what? He is progressively, even with Zach, he progressively got more and more aggressive. I know the New England game was a little discouraging with the run 3 and out. But with Zach, there were instances where he came out throwing the football also. Has he gotten a little, we call them creative plays, not trick plays, but has he gotten a little creative there? For sure. He's getting a little more aggressive in those regards. But as far as the overall structure of the offense and what he's asking on a play in and play out basis, all of it has really been the same. Elijah's starting to get comfortable. I mean, in the last 3 games, he has 14 receptions for, let me give you the stat, 3 touchdowns, 187 yards. Michael Carter's kind of teed off. So a lot of rookies who have been getting a lot of playing time are getting better within the scheme. Credit Taylor and Miles Austin with the amount of work they're putting in with their rooks. But, so yeah, he has been getting a little bit aggressive, but at the same time, I think everyone is starting to understand what's being asked of him, and he's starting to understand where he can put his players, and he's understanding what he can ask of his players. And so it's just kind of a growth that's happening with a young offense, young coordinator. But he hasn't gotten smarter. He is a very, very smart young man. He's just like everyone else, everyone's figuring it out all at the same time. So.
Robert, with Zach, even though he's not playing, like after seeing this offense work, do you think that's helpful to him just so he could see it now and see that, okay, these are the things that I need to do out on the field? Do you think that can be helpful to him just having seen success, not from himself, but through this offense?
Yeah. So what I think is even more beneficial is that Zach spent the first 6 games, so he ran the offense for 6 games, and then to be able to watch it the last 2 games, absolutely, because all the same plays are being run, all the same runs are being run, the same players are running the routes. Nothing's really changed, with the exception of the gadgets, obviously, and all that stuff. But for the most part, the drop back system, the play action pass, the run game, it's our system. And so all those are the same. And so for him to see it through the lens of another quarterback is incredibly beneficial, especially since he's already exposed himself to it. So now it's just a matter of absorbing that information and being confident, because he's the good thing with Zach is that we don't have to teach him how to do the spectacular. He just has to learn how to do the boring stuff. And understand that the boring can be explosive, can be spectacular too. I mean, Mike did it last week against Cincinnati with 3.7 yards per air yards, just getting it to where the players just playing quarterback. But there's also times where the offense needs you to be spectacular. And that's something that's his hallmark. And he'll learn it. He's a young buck. He's one of those rookies that thinks they're invincible, and he's only going to get better as he learns.
Robert, one injury we haven't paid much attention to, Bryce Huff. You put him on IR yesterday. Is he in jeopardy for the season, or is that something where you think he could be back in 3 weeks?
No, we should get him back for Miami after Miami. right? Houston game. We should have him back for the Houston game. And feel really good about that too. So
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
all right, thanks guys.
Recording stopped.
Everyone will go back into the waiting room while we wait on the coordinators. Thank you.